Hey, Ark, how's it going?
All right, I'm trying to see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
All right.
me?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay, I try to go as fast as possible with all these questions I got. That when I seen the guy, what's the guy Marcus that does the London session?
Yeah.
When we was chatting and he said, well, that I got to teach him how to do it, and I was like, what the hell? That you the one that taught me how to. Well, he was one of what mainly Razik and you was the one who spent the most time either chatting back and forth. But that scared the hell out of me because I'm my goal is exactly what you've been saying and what this other guy's been saying. Being being hatchet. Uh,
Okay.
is the he's like, man, uh having a job is doesn't make sense or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I can do it. Nothing is easy, but it's it's just a mindset. What I'm trying to find out is uh, that inside my head, I be thinking, it is what I did just luck, or can I continue to do it living off of it? And do I need to have every arsenal that you have? Because I heard about your story where you did 10K in one day because you forgot about the FTMO and you just got it. Uh, would I have to learn the pivot strategies because that's more controllable than setting it and forgetting it with the full take profit? Because I've been watching the FTMO. I've been watching the FTMO videos, and they say that people don't realize that you got a total max loss of $10,000 during the whole challenge, and then you got a daily max loss of 5,000. I don't do that much trading. I maybe two trades a day, London and this, so I don't get caught up. And then I want to do some of the forex trades, but I think that might can endanger me of getting past a safe amount for me to trade per day, and then I'm stuck waiting for a 4 hour candle to actually get to enough profit where it's worth the time. So I don't know if I even asked the question. What I'm just saying is, what's the best way for me to get the profit target that they need and not over exceed my I don't think the daily balance will be no problem. But I'm thinking the total loss. That if I have two full stop losses, that'll be damn near $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the main thing that you should probably focus on is just what you're currently doing already. You know, the 1, 2 daily entries are perfectly fine. The problem with going into scalping is that, I mean, you have to be very on point. You have to really know what you're doing because one loss could stack up to like 2, 3 losses if you just keep going back to like back and forth. However, if you're just taking, 1 or 2 trades a day, you're able to calculate and you understand the risk, per entry. So you don't overdo it and you don't underdo it. So you're just, right on point. And like you mentioned, 1 or 2 trades, if you have 2 stop losses back to back, that'll probably be about maybe 4 or 5 thousand, which is not too bad because you're still within the max limit. However, if you're going to be taking both of the entries, then I recommend that you probably take a smaller lot size so that you don't risk all that much. Because I'm not. What lot size are you using now for the daily US 30?
For the FTMO, I don't and see. I really got to understand it because Razik been kind of give me the answer to the test, if you will, meaning because when I switched over from practicing on the other brokers, which was Hugo's way, he said just move the 15 over to the other side of the decimal. So it's 1 5 on this side of on the left side of the decimal. What is that equivalent to for the 15? It's not 15. It's 1 5, but it's on the left side of the decimal.
Like something over here. I'm trying to figure out what you're. What you mean by that? Let's see here.
Uh, like on the lot size on the MT4, it changes.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so here I'll just put it down on the screen. I don't know if you're looking at the screen right now, but basically
Yeah.
a 1.0 on FTMO equals a 0.01 on a 0.10 on Hugo's way. So that's like the main difference between the two. So it's not really a huge difference. All you do is you move the decimal point over by one.
And sir, like is there any way that you can film this so I can watch this 100 times?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It'll be on YouTube. So like once we're done with this, I'll send you the link and then
Okay.
you can rewatch it as much as you want. So yeah, feel
Okay.
free to get as many questions as you want out and we
Okay.
can knock out pretty much anything that you have, any confusion with so that you don't run into those issues in the future.
Okay. Okay. So a 1.0 is equivalent to 0.10 on Hugo's way. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's not even a full lot on Hugo's way, and then on FTMO it's not a full lot.
Exactly. Yeah, because FTMO uses mini lots. So their lots are the decimals moved over by one. So
Okay.
FTMO uses mini lots because it's the E-mini feature, and then Hugo's Way uses the standard lots. So this is pretty much the conversion there. And then, if you want to move it up a little more, like the 10 lot on FTMO is going to be equivalent to a standard lot on Hugo's Way.
A standard lot on Hugo's way.
So
So I'm doing a full, like a lot and a half. Now, when I put down the 15 on FTMO,
oh, that'll be a 1.5. So I'll put that right here. A 15 lot on FTMO is going to be 1.50 on Hugo's Way. So all you're really doing is you're just moving the decimal point over by one.
I got you.
Yeah, so it's not overly complicated. I think a lot of people get confused with this, but it's pretty simple. And then if you want to calculate it, this is going to be the calculation for it. So a 1.0 in FTMO going to equal $1 per pip, and then a 10 on FTMO is going to equal $10 per pip.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, let me get this question that I didn't have it, but let me make sure that I get this out the way before. I still have a bad habit of when it do a break and retest, or when I get the signal, whether it's a buy or sell, I got a bad habit of wanting to wait until it goes in the negative of the entry that's given, especially if it's a pending order. Because inside my mind, then I'm thinking I can I can kill some of the potential loss if I'm getting in real deep inside the break and retest. But it's like every time I get comfortable in saying that that's what I'm gonna do, that the trade never hits the pending order and it keeps going the other way. Like last night with the Trump speaking about with the tweets or whatever, and it never came back, or it took a long time for it to come back. Just to make sure, if it's a pending order, such as a buy limit or a buy stop or sell limit, sell stop, that's the exact number that I should place down. And when it comes back, that interacts the momentum that we're momentum trading, and it helps my chances of being safe. And don't worry about the big stop loss.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, basically when I take a trade, like if I was to take this trade right here, you can see that price kind of comes down a little bit, right? So this is what you mean. You kind of wait for it to come down and then you enter down here. So you get in for a discount basically.
Yeah.
So you can do that. Me personally, I don't like to wait for it. So when this, like literally I'm waiting for this candle to close. And as soon as it closes, I just hit a market buy and I get into the trade right away. So I don't have to go and worry about missing the trade. Like you just mentioned right now, like sometimes you'll wait a little too long and then your trade might not even get filled, you know. And then at that point, like say if it was something like I'm just gonna try to find an example where it shoots straight to TP. So let's see if try to find like a clean like move upwards.
That I did.
Yeah, so something like right here. See, if you try to wait for this to come up a little bit to get that discount and price was way down here, it never would have filled at that point because it would have went straight to TP. So this is just an example of, you know, you trying to get that discount, but it hurting you in the end because you might not even get into that trade. But if you were to just enter right away, you know, odds are you're probably going to have a better opportunity to you know, take that win instead of you waiting for that discounted price. But I mean, it works both ways. Like you don't have to do it that way. Or if you're not able to watch the chart, then, you know, obviously it's going to be a little harder for you to get in right away, because sometimes you have to wait for that candle to close if you want to get in at prime price. And in some situations, you're not going to be at the computer, you know? So it just really depends on you personally, how you want to do it. But me personally, what I do is I just enter right away. I don't even bother for that discounted price, because in reality, like if we look over here, this discounted price is only about, it's like 200, 300 pips. That's like how much spread normally costs, you know? So, I mean, technically you can, because if it comes down and you get a buy stop right here, as soon as it shoots up, it's going to fill your order, right?
Yeah.
So either way, they both work, but me personally, I just get in right away. I don't want to have to watch it and worry about getting into it like at a later time.
Okay. The alerts. I know. Okay. When I'm trading and after watching your videos, I'm learning that you have access to one screen and you can do certain things with your screen that a person on the MT4 has to be blind for a little moment. Meaning we got to go over from the trading view over to the MT4 to execute the trade. So, you know, you can look at it and see how close you are to the candle, or right at 10 seconds, right when that cancel it on the trading view, it'll like pause when the next candle is about to come. You looking at it physical time. There's a little fear factor when I'm getting ready to place the order, because not unless I remember what number it is, especially with the spreads being with the FTMO being different, where we got to add 130 we got to add or subtract one around 130 in order to get the best entry. Is that just normal that we're going to have that blind moment where we don't see exactly where we're getting in at?
So
it should make that much of a difference.
Yeah, so it goes back to what I was mentioning earlier. Generally, when I see the candle close, I'll have MC4 open on my phone. So as soon as that candle closes, I just hit market buy and I'm ready in the trade. And
so you trade on the MT4 too?
Yeah, I trade on the MT4 as well.
Okay. All right.
So like I do all my charting on TradingView like I did right here, but when I'm entering the trade, I'm putting it in on my phone. So I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing as well.
Okay. And do you know if TradingView allows me to have two devices?
It should be. You have a paid account, right?
Yeah. I got the $20 account or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I think for that one you could have two devices. I know if you're on the free one, it won't let you, but I know on the one of the paid ones, you could at least have two devices. So you should be all right.
So I can have my iPhone, my work iPhone, and look at the trade kind of like you do when you're in front of your laptop. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to do both of them with one phone. Okay. Did I say that you're doing a FTML count yourself? And then I think that Rabbi Zeke was doing one, what I'm saying. So it's possible to have two FTML counts at the same time? Or is that meaning you can manage two, meaning you would have to log in and log out of one of them to do two accounts at what time?
Yeah, like if you open up the FTMO application, I mean the MC4 application, you can easily switch between two different profiles. Like when you go to your account setting, you just click on your account, and then you could just click on the other one if that's the case.
And do you think that we'll have enough time to actually do two of them at one time?
Um, it really depends on you because for me, I've been doing this for so long that it's like second nature to me. I could literally just pop it open and I'll be good to go. But I can't say, if it'll be the same for you because it might be complicated at first because it was complicated for me in the beginning because, I would kind of make mistakes. But, the more you do it, the more used to it you get. And you can literally just, enter the trade, switch the account, and then enter that trade too. Um, so it just really depends on you. I think you should practice maybe with a demo, like have your FTMO and then have your demo to like practice with. And then once you're comfortable, then you can start using your real account. Because you don't want to like, here's a problem. When you take two trades on two separate accounts, you might forget about one account. So say you enter the trade on the first one, right? And you go right to the next one, you put your stop loss and TP on that second one, but you didn't put a stop loss TP on the first one. So that's where you get kind of,
Yeah.
you add on too much risk because there's so much stuff going on, and you know how US 30 moves super fast. You might make some mistakes. So I personally think you should practice doing it first before you actually do it with a live account. But once you're all good, then it doesn't hurt for you to do that as well.
That okay. And then like when they verify me, uh, how does this stuff work? I mean, do I gotta give them my bank account? Can I get paid in Bitcoin? Um,
Yeah, so once you get your funded account, then you just gotta fill out your information, and then every month, at the end of every month, they're gonna send you your total of how much profit you made, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fill out an invoice. They'll have step-by-step instructions there. Basically, the invoice is just gonna have your information there, how you want to be paid, and how much profit you've cut from that split. So basically, the way that I get paid is I get paid through Skrill, which is kind of similar to PayPal. It's like a online bank account. And what happens is I send them the invoice, and then about less than 14 days later, they send me my profits. And you're gonna have the same process as well. So it just really depends on how you want to be paid. I think they can pay through bank transfer, wire fee, Skrill, and possibly PayPal. I can't remember if they're still doing PayPal.
but definitely not Bitcoin.
Honestly, you might be able to. I'm not 100% sure because they have a processor where you could click on it, and then they have a bunch of options right there. But I don't think they do Bitcoin. I think they because they're a legit company, so they want to have everything documented. So they literally have you fill out all the information, for tax purposes and stuff like that. Um, and that's pretty much how it works. But you can check. They might do Bitcoin, but I haven't seen it and I haven't done it myself.
Okay, okay. Uh, when can you show me an example of a pending order that you would place so I can whether it's a buy stop or sell stop? I mean,
Oh,
whether it's a buy limit or sell limit. I mean, a buy limit or a buy stop, so I can make sure that I'm understanding on all three of them. I'm supposed to subtract 130 from the last three numbers to give me a better entry. So what we talked about last time doesn't happen where the number that I'm entering is not off, and I'm because I'm kind of gauging it now because I didn't have this problem at first. That when I first did it, whatever number I put in, I was right at my safe 15 uh 15 1500 or 15 yeah, the 1500 stop loss or 1500 take profit. I was always real close to that, but it seemed like something switched with FTMO where that when I started putting in the exact numbers, it was getting off.
yeah. I think for them, their data is a little different because they're not using the same data that we use. The data that they use is actual raw future. It's like a real, it's a real asset. It's not the indice, which is market made. So
Okay.
so this is an example right here. So say we have this entry over here, right?
Yeah.
And then say we missed the entry. Say we didn't enter at market right there, and then price is currently down here. So in this situation right here, you would put a buy stop right here, right? So that once price shoots
Yeah,
up, it's going to fill your order.
yeah.
So in that situation right there, if price is, because generally I think I noticed from the from FTMO that price is generally a little lower. It's somewhere like right here, something like that. So basically the way that you would enter this trade is you would subtract it from this point. So the entry right here is going to be 28024, and then the difference is probably like 130 pips, right? So what you're going to do is you're just going to subtract it from the entry point right here. So right here, the number is 28024. You're just going to subtract the, whatever the price difference is, which is generally going to be like 120 pips. So you see that right there, and then you just change this over here. So this number is 27904. And then you'll just change this to same thing, 150 pips. So instead of entering like way up here, your entry is actually going to be like way down here. And that's the difference.
Oh, okay. So pending orders that Razik said 130, you said approximately 120, or it's not that much of a difference.
It's not that much of a difference. Just here, let me pull up FTMO, see where price currently is. But I mean, this is a basic gist of how you would do it. You would just subtract the number from the thing. I'm not sure how many numbers are on FTMO. Let me see. FTMO is,
Cause I mean that I've been in the service, and I'm like, whenever there's a information and there's a gap between what I see and what I was told, I freeze. But lately, for some reason, I've been able to work it out.
oh
And
yeah.
and then I say, okay, that I think this is the way it's supposed to, and then it starts looking right. But I know one time I won the trade, but I calculated it wrong, and I had my take profit way too far up. So when I woke up, it was that I thought it kicked me out the trade with my take profit. Then I kept looking, and the numbers started moving. I said, "Oh man, that is still alive." So then I hear up and closed it. So I just want to make sure that I got everything down pat. I'm not taking it like a game or nothing like that. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Okay, then I'm looking at the screen now.
Yeah, so basically this would be the difference of, price. And then once you have your entry point, that's going to be the main thing. Once you have your entry point, you can just put the TP and stop loss, and then that will be your actual TP stop loss.
Okay, and I do have the okay to get in at a discount. That's all fine. But because if I took it right when the candle closes, that's the same thing if it went in against me and I lost anyway. So I do got the okay to do that. Now, is the Forex more less spiky than the US 30? Meaning that I see you taking the Forex trades that I want to, but I do what I'm told to do. US 30 is simple, it's faster, but I might can get in too many Forex trades with the FTMO, which might give me in the thing. So is Forex more has a better win ratio by guesstimation? Because I know you may not be keeping track of, but over the long term.
They're about the same. I think US 30 probably has the better win ratio though, because we only take it once a day. So like with Forex, we're taking multiple trades a day. So obviously it's going to affect the win rate, because more trades, it's gonna add more numbers to the wins and losses. However, for US 30, we only take about 1 or 2 trades max a day. So obviously, the win rate on that's going to be a lot higher, because we're taking less risk. So I mean, give or take is about the same. But if you're trading FTMO, if you try to take every Forex trade, you're gonna get lost. You're not gonna be able to follow each trade. So the thing is, if you forget about one trade and that trade goes into negative and you forget to put a stop loss, you could, very well hit your daily limit. So that's why I don't recommend trading Forex on your FTMO. I probably just trade Forex on a different account, so it doesn't mess with your daily loss limits. Because the thing is, if you're holding that trade into the next day, your daily loss limit doesn't get reset. You're still gonna have that big negative. So if you end up holding a trade for too long, you're gonna, it's gonna hurt your account for sure.
Okay. So the daily loss limit carries over to the next day.
Yeah, if you carry it past their turnover session where the next day starts, then it's going to carry over. So your thing's not going to get reset. And say if you're holding a Forex trade and you're like deep in the negative, you're close to your daily limit, and then you take one more trade and that goes into negative, you're going to lose your account right away.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. Now, there was 1 month, I was going back over all your results, and all your results, only for somebody who just don't know anything about trading, they'll look at the results and look at it from not knowing that you can pull your profits out. It was they're based on if they all hit full take P or whatever, or you're not kind of pulling out of the that if I had a 15 had a $1,200 had a $1,200 winner, but my take profit is at 1,300, I would probably pull it because what's the difference from $100? So, but on your thing, it says, if you'd have took all our trades or whatever, that I had no common sense to know that that nobody can take all them trades. Probably you can because your account is so big, but we couldn't take all them trades. So that I wasn't calculating it from my standpoint. I was calculating it. That's what is possible, but I was looking more of the win average was what attracted me to a K2. So with all that being said, if you remember how the market got kind of crazy, because I was just doing all my research. The market got crazy with our strategy, maybe with the summer or whatever, after being on point, that the wins and the losses, we were still in the green, or we was winning, but it wasn't so much as like 9 wins, 1 losses, or 8 wins, 1 loss. It was more like 7 and 5 or whatever. Wasn't it 1 month like that, or no?
So, sorry, I got lost with your question. Could you repeat it?
Okay, like what if, like when the market acts better, if you will, meaning like you said, during this time of the year, the market tends to work better because we're out of the summer months. Has there ever been a time where the strategy gave us close to like 60-40, that'll give me a lot more losses than normal, than the normal way that we get like 10 wins and 1 loss per month? Like if you take all the trades and you have the wins over here and you got the losses over here, is there a certain time, like in December, the market is going to slow down, and you're not going to have as much momentum on certain parts of December, probably around December the 20th or December the 15th. Are you going to tell us that, hey, this is the time of year, you probably be on vacation to Cabo or somewhere. let's just shut this shit down, and we'll return back in January the 15th. That would there be anything like that, or this stuff works no matter what?
It works no matter what, because the strategy is based on momentum. So as long as there's volatility in the market, so like as long as the market's moving, it doesn't have to move crazy fast, but as long as it's moving, there's still going to be entries. There might be less trades, obviously, because the market slowed down. However, I'm still going to be calling trades because I do this every day. This is like literally my life. Like even if I was making money doing this, like I enjoy trading so much that, I do this every day for whatever reason. I'm not going to stop just because the market slowed down. I'm going to still watch the market every single day. I'm still going to have the same, webinars weekly. And then I'm just going to, if there's trades, I'm going to call them. If there's no trades, then I'll give you guys an update and I'll say, hey guys, the market's kind of slow right now. So we're just not seeing any trades, because the whole key with trading is that you got to be consistent, because you got to be on your feet and ready to go, because you never know when the market's going to get good. You never know when the market's going to get bad. Kind of similar to how it was, the past 2 weeks. Like the past 2 weeks, if I wasn't on top of my game, we would have missed all those wins that we had, because we haven't, like the past 2 weeks, we had no losses. This week we had a couple losses, but they were due to the news. So, you kind of got to be on your feet. You got to be on top of the news and stuff that's going on, because the market will throw curveballs at you all the time. But, it's your job to be able to decipher it and, kick out all the noise, because that's the problem with a lot of traders. They get caught in the noise. They try to chase the money, and then they end up losing their account. So like for me, I've been doing this for so long where I kind of understand how the market moves. So, whenever the market's moving different, I'll let you guys know. If the market's good, I'll let you guys know. But overall, everything's going to be the same, regardless as to, what season, what month, what time of the year, like all of that.
Okay, and then with like FTMO, will we be responsible? Like we got 30 days, but that month may not have enough trades for us to get to the profit target. And let's say that we're in profit at the end of the 30 days. Will they pull the account because we didn't reach the profit target, or they'll still do the 70 split and they reset us?
It just gets split and reset every month. There's no once you get funded, there's no more profit target. So you just take you still have to trade 10 days a month just to show that you're still active. However, there's no there's not going to be a profit target for you. So like if you make $1 an entire month, you still keep 70 cents of that, because you take your 70%. It doesn't matter if you make $1, you make a couple, 70 cents, you make $2, $100, 1,000. It doesn't matter how much you make. You're still going to get your cut at the end of those 30 days.
So
But
even so, this great. So even if I have a bad month and I don't go over the maximum, that I can start back again fresh.
so if you end the month in the negative, then you're going to just keep trading that same account. They're not going to reset it once you get to the negative, until you could rebuild it back. Because obviously if you're losing money, they're not just going to top it off and put it back to normal, because they're losing money too, because you're trading with money. So basically at the end of the month, say if you're in the negative like $10, right? The following month you're still going to be in the negative $10, but you can make that back with like a trade or two. So when you're in the negative, it still stays. However, if you're in the positive, then you still get cashed out every month. Or if you want to, you can leave money in the account. So that's what I'm doing. So every month, since I don't really need the money, like the money isn't super necessary, I leave some of the profit in there so that the following months I'll have some cushion. Like how you mentioned in December, the market might get a little off because we're getting close to the holidays and a lot of people aren't going to be trading. So right now I'm just building my FTMO account and I'm going to leave, money in it every month basically. So I have a bigger max daily loss. So instead of having 10,000 max daily loss, I'll leave 10,000 in there. So I'll have 20,000 for the following month. And then after that, I'll leave like another 10,000. Then I'll have a 30,000 max daily monthly loss.
Okay, that's I'm starting to learn how to drive the car. Okay. This screen won't show me, but on your phone it could. I'm having difficult because I had everything perfect, at least where I can hear the alerts. That I may not hear them while I'm asleep, but when I got my card compromised, I lost the account. So some of the work that me and Razik did about after the candle closes, I need to have the alert go off versus after it passes, after the indicator turns on the green and turns on the red. It kept giving me so many alerts, it was driving me crazy. He said, no, you want to do it when it closes. So he got all that stuff, but I don't remember how he did it. But I'm trying to learn how to do it with my phone. Meaning, so since you are on your laptop, I really can't see because some other controls on the phone is different from what I see. But can you go over the alert on what to click so I can get at least my alerts with the close of the candle set.
Yeah, sure.
And explain how you set the alerts in the midway from your take profit. Because you said that you set alerts to just to let you know where price is on one of the videos that you said that you set alerts up and down those areas close to TP1, TP2. Okay, all right, then I'm talking way too much. Okay.
All right, cool. So let's do it. Yeah. So what you can do is you can set the alerts on your laptop, and then those alerts will still be sent over to your phone. So basically, this is the way that you would do it. So I'm just going to use this as an example. Let me just back this up a little bit. All right. So this is just going to be for demonstrational purposes right here. So basically, if you want to set an alert for US 30, you just got to make sure you have US 30 on your chart. You have the right time frame, the 10-minute, and then you have the K2TS indicator turned on. So once you have all of these on, you're going to hit alert right here. After that, you're going to change the condition right here to K2TS. You'll change this to signal fired. That way you'll get a signal for both a buy and a sell. And then,
okay.
yeah, K2 signal fired. And then right here, you're going to change this from only once to once per bar close. So that way you're only going to get an alert if the candle actually closes. If you set it to once per bar, you're just going to get a bunch of alerts. You're not going to get the valid alert that actually closes. But if you set it to this right here, you're going to get the alert when it actually closes.
I got
so once you have this, you can set this right here, notify on app, so that when you get the alert, it'll show up on your phone too if you have the TradingView app on your cell phone.
Okay. And is it different sounds or?
You can change it. It's really up to you depending on play sound. You can change it to any of these here. I just have it set to the default one because I don't really care about the sound, because if I hear a ring, I'm gonna go look at it. It's not gonna make a difference. But I see what you mean. If you want to set a different alert for something specific, you can always change the sound depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, like back in the oil field, I was a firefighter, and so they'll call me whenever there was a problem. So, but I couldn't never hear the phone while I was sleeping at certain times. So I had to find something that either pissed me off or got me upset, that was so aggravating where I would miss it. And I was able to train my phone to make it keep going until I hear it. Meaning it just didn't ping one time. That I actually had to reset it. Is there an option for this one where it's a continuous or one per minute up until I wake up? Or
I don't think there's well, if you have it on your phone, generally on your phone, if you have the alert like ring and you don't look at it, I think there's a way you can set the notifications on your cell phone where the notifications will just keep beeping like every couple seconds. Oh, not every second, but every couple minutes. Like maybe a minute later, it'll ring again, so you take a look. But me personally, I haven't done that myself, so you might have to like play around with your phone. I'm not sure if you have like an iPhone or an Android, because I know every phone is a little different. So depending on what type of phone you got, you might have to look into your notification settings.
oh, okay. And then if you're placing an alert, not when it's closing, but just you want to set alert just to keep track of your trade. How do you do that? Do you do it with a horizontal line?
No. So right here, what I do is, so say I got my profit target right here, right, for 1,500 pips. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that price, and then I'm going to hit alert right here. Hit alert, and then I'm going to just leave everything here as is. So condition US 30 crossing. This means that whenever price crosses this specific price, then you're going to get an alert. So right here, I'm going to put the full TP right there, right? I copy this number right here to right here, so that when price crosses the specific price point, it's going to send you an alert. So I'll have this set up right here. I'll have it set to only once, so that it only alert me one time once price reaches that point. And then for the message, I'm going to change that to, like US 30 TP1 hit. And I'll put like, I don't know, full TP hit. And then I'll just put like plus 1,500 pips or something like that, just so that when I get that pop up on the screen right here, it'll tell me like, hey, US 30 hit full TP.
Okay. And okay. Another question is, I'm starting to learn once I get close to the profit target or to a goal, or if I'm that when I was doing the FTMO, I noticed once I got up to 6,000 or 7,000, I started changing my 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 habits rather than letting it get out of reach or be at the $1,000 profit. I was okay with closing it, taking the risk that it'll retrace a little bit more and waiting for another full TP. Is that normal or is that okay? Because
Yeah,
all the work I did to get to make me start back over.
exactly. So I mean, it's okay to do, but I think you should stick to what what got you to that point. Like if leaving the trade alone and letting it hit full TP or close to full TP is what got you, to that 7,000 profit gain, you should probably just continue to do what you're doing because that's the problem with a lot of traders. A lot of traders is they get too confident. They get, once they get to a point, they're like, oh, I don't got to follow my rules anymore. And then what happens? They blow their account. So what I recommend is you just stick to what got you to that point, because the market repeats itself. Like literally, if you do what was working for you in the beginning and you just continue to keep doing that, you become a machine, basically. You become a money printing machine. So literally all you're doing is doing what you've been doing the whole time. And then you can, let it keep growing. Because the thing is, like how you mentioned, like say if price was to go up a little bit, because I know what you're talking about. I do that too sometimes. It's like where price goes up and then you exit like right here, you just close your profit and then you wait for it to come down a little bit and then you enter again right here. You go and you enter another trade, right? Is that what you're talking about? And then you wait for it to go and hit full TP at that point.
Well, no, I mean that sometimes I want to re-enter because what I noticed in the red when it goes against me, as soon as I get one candle that closed positive, it's like 98% that the next candle is going to be a green candle. So, but then I got too many trades open at one time, so I don't do it. That I just stick to the thing. So you're saying that we can close the trade, and if it goes against us, we can re-enter?
I don't recommend it. I mean, I've done it before, but it's only because I know what I'm doing. Because generally, what I do, like when that happens, is I'm scalping at that point. Because so like check this out. If we get out of this trade over here, so if this trade shoots up right here, and then let me just put this over here. So like you can see right here, price came up to this point, and then I would have probably sold right here. See, I would have sold in profit, and then you can see that at this point right here, price starts to come back down, right? So as it comes back down, and then it rejects off the K2 pivot, like right here, I'll enter another buy right here, and then I'll ride this thing all the way up. But it's not something that I recommend you do. I only do this because I know what I'm doing. Like you have to like literally know what you're doing. You have to be on point and you can't be making any mistakes because, the complete opposite could have happened here. So you could have done this and re-entered at this point, but it could have went straight to stop loss.
Okay.
So
And
it's just too much risk. I don't recommend you do it. Like you should practice. I've been doing this for years, so I know what the market looks like. I kind of know how to decipher when certain moves happen because I've been staring at the charts for like years, so I know exactly how things move. Like when price was to, let me just replay from right here. So you can see right here, price is over here respecting the pivots, and then as price came down right here, like you see that huge red candle. You see how that happened real
yeah,
quick. So right here, as that came down right there, I would have entered a buy like right at this point, and then I would have rode it back up because I'm so familiar with how the pivots work. Because you can see right here that generally price will come up a little bit. It'll come down, test the pivot, and then shoot right back up. It does the same thing again right here. Price comes down, test the pivot, then shoots right back up. But this is only because I can see it with my eyes because this is it's like a language that you kind of learn because you study it so much. You personally, I don't think you should do this just yet because this is a little complex. Like this is something that you kind of build intuition, you kind of just understand how things work. It's not something that you could just learn right away. It's something that you got to trade every single day. You got to be on the charts for hours to like see this stuff, because check this out right here. If you did the same thing at this point over here, you could have gotten screwed, because look, price came down, it
Hold on, let
came
me
up,
look.
tested it, and then it came back down. But look, if you try to do it again right here, price never came back down. So instead of price coming back down, you would have taken a loss right here, because price ended up reversing on you. So
Okay.
it's not something that I recommend you do. Yeah, I would recommend you practice it first, to the point where you don't have to think about it. Like for me, I don't have to think about it. Like I'm not setting pending orders. When I see price, come up to the pivots, I'm having my market order ready. So I have like a sell order somewhere, and then I just have my stuff basically entering and exiting right away, because I'm not, like when you're scalping, you have to move really quick. Like you can't second think yourself. Like if you're going to enter a buy, you got to enter a buy right away. You can't think about it like, oh, I'm going to message Shawn, I'm going to see if I should enter this buy. Like you don't have that much time on your hand, because the thing is, if you try to enter a sell right here and you're like thinking maybe you should ask me if you should enter that, as soon as price comes down a little bit, as soon as you send that question out, you already hit your stop loss. So that's why to scalp, I definitely recommend that. It's not for beginners, especially not if you're not familiar with how the market moves, like for US 30, because it moves so fast. In the blink of an eye, you can hit your stop loss. So
But the stop losses on scalping is different.
yeah, so the thing with when we're trading our normal trade, we put our stop loss at the previous swing. However, when you're scalping, your stop loss is going to be pretty tight. And generally, I don't even have a stop loss most of the time. I'm exiting the trade and entering manually. I'm just doing market orders, because I'm watching every single move. It's not something that you can just set and forget it. If you're scalping, you
It,
got to actually pay attention.
it that I did it with gold, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I would just I was doing like a martingale, something stupid. And so I would martingale because I knew the market it does so many fakes that I was taking advantage of the fake. So when it went against the first trade, I do a 0.01, and when it kept going against it, in my mind I said, well, it can't keep going against it, so let me bump it up to a one lot, and then it'll shoot up in profit. Then I heard, and then and then that, well, I would actually put my finger over the close trade button. So as soon as it went my way just a little bit, then I'm closing. But
Exactly.
but what I learned is sometimes that joker keep going, and then you get stuck. Instead of your mind freezes, and well, maybe it'll turn around and I get back to break even. Then I close. Then you say, well, now let me take some of this profit, and it never does it. And then you kind of looking crazy. So uh the I got you. So just stay away from that. But then you said practice. How do you practice?
So I would just open a demo account and just play around with it. Just trade it as if it was a real account. That's the best way to or which see that the problem with US 30 is you can't really trade with a really small account, because unless you use a specific broker. So if you use a broker that lets you trade like pennies, then you could practice with a real account, but on a like the bare minimum lot size. But if you're trading with Hugo's way, each pip is going to be like 10 cents. So you're going to be risking like about $100 each trade if you're going to be, playing around with scalping. So I don't think that's, feasible for you or for anyone in reality. So you could probably just open a demo account with maybe Hugo's way, or even the FTMO trial. You can start the FTMO trial and you can play around with scalping on that account until you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, then you can go ahead and take it live. But take your time with it. There's no rush, because you're not gonna get it like overnight. Because like how you mentioned earlier, you took that trade on gold, which you didn't know you were doing. The key is you want to know what you're doing at all times, because you don't want to be caught in any trades that reverse on you.
Okay, and this is what that I did do a scalp. I think what that I asked you, and you said, yeah, if you're in the trade for this amount of time, and if you put your cursor on the second candle after that big drop,
Oh, this one right here.
yeah. What I noticed when you do your scalping, it happens when you see the angle of them pivots chasing the candle. Uh,
Exactly.
so, but I'm real good at describing something for somebody who don't know how to say it versus my best. He's not my best friend, but it's a guy I know. He's like you. He makes money, millions, and he just naked. He can draw a line. He said on the 1 hour when it crosses here. I said, well, how in the hell am I puzzle? Wait and just look at the screen. He said, you don't want it bad enough. And so he doesn't go into the little details. But I noticed when you do it, you may not say the word angle, but when them candles go to running, it's like you can tell the difference from that green. Was that a green line from that first pivot away from the candle?
Oh yeah, that's pretty much that'd
You
be clear.
can. There's a little gap when that thing runs where there's no candle even touching the pivot. That it's like a zone where you can keep taking sales all the way down up until it does something, but I don't know what that something is. I haven't figured that out. But then when I seen it, I would have never thought I would have did it. But I said, this joke is finna, it's already at the angle, away from the pivots, to spread it out. It's and then it went up towards the pivot, and something just made me push sell. And I went over to the close screen, and I just had my hand over to the close screen. So whether it got too big, my loss, or whether I got the profit, and I did like a $200 scalp. I'm trying to ask you, is that kind of like scalping in my mind, or is this a lot more complicated than that?
Oh no, that's exactly what I was talking about. So like you can see right here, price comes up, it gets really close to the pivot, like right here, it just barely touched it, and you could take an sell right there. And then every time it came up, like right here, it came up to the pivot, you could have taken another sell right there. But once price comes up and then it starts crossing over to, the pivot start crossing the other way, then you probably just pull out and you'll be done for that, that specific cycle. Same situation right here. So price comes down, and as soon as it gets near the pivot, you can enter a buy right there. So you can enter a buy, ride that up. Same situation right here. It comes down. As it comes down to this pivot, you could enter a buy. And then you could literally just keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's exactly what I was just talking about. But like something like this, you kind of need to practice because, the market's not always going to look the same. So if you look at, the pivots over here, and then you compare it to pivots when the market isn't really moving smoothly, like right here, these would be nice, smooth movements, right? But if you start to go over here where it starts to get a little messy, this is where it gets a little risky because you can see right here, it's kind of hard to really read it because it gets a little messy. But when it gets smoothed out like this right here, you could literally it comes down right here, you enter a buy. See, it comes down again right here, you enter another buy. And you can pretty much have like these little frenzies right here where you're just coming down. Every time it comes down, you just keep entering, another buy
So
until.
is it safe to say the pivot is a area of chaos that is
Yeah,
going to give you a rejection, and you take advantage of the chaos, and you're stealing money. I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
That's pretty much what a scalp is. You're just grabbing and running. You just grab the profit, run away, and then you just wait for the next time, grab the profit. Like so, this is a little example. So say like someone like say you're a fish, right? You're a big fish, you're a shark, and you see these little fishes coming down. You see the little fish come down, you eat the fish, and you let it, and then you run away. You wait again, wait for another fish to come down, you eat it, you run away. You just keep doing that. You wait for it to drop, you're basically catching the low hanging fruit. So you see the low hanging fruit, you eat it, you let it go. You see it come back down again, you eat it, you let it go. Until it gets to a point where, price crosses way down here. It's like, all right, maybe it's not gonna, maybe this is a big fish I'm trying to pull right here. So you just pull out and then you just wait for it to reset, do it again. Right here. Comes down, fish drops, you eat it, take your profit. Literally
but,
just same thing over and over again.
but the eating, or what I call the chaos, it's all predicated to the the rejection, and you and I didn't message about the rejection. You said it's all. Some people see the rejection as being this, and some people see the rejection as being this. But there's something inside your mind that tells you it's a rejection. Is it the pen? Is it the pen coming off the candle going in the direction, or is it a flicker of the candle that says it's not going to go through the pivot? It's about to bounce off of.
It's generally like a little flicker. So say if you're watching this come down right here, and then you can see how the wicks are a little different. Like you can see right here, there's a big show example. So right here, you can see that these are small wicks right here. So it's having these small little rejections. But right here, you see this huge wick right here. It's bigger than all these other wicks. So when you see that, that's when I enter the buy, and I pretty much just write it up. Because generally these wicks right here are just indications of the bulls and the bears fighting. So basically, you can see that there's a wick right here. So basically what happened first was the bears were pushing price down, and then the bulls were like, no, they pushed it right back up. So when you see this wick, it's like, all right, maybe I should enter this trade because price is likely to go up. Because it's basically just a struggle. Every time you see these wicks right here, it's just a struggle going both directions. So for wick, yeah.
We
So
used to call that the back when I didn't know what I was doing when I was trading gold. We should call it the nipple.
the nipple.
We should call it the nipple, but because it'll freeze with the little, we call it the nipple, and it'll freeze, and we'll take it off of the little wick, and it'll just shoot out of there, and then we'll close. But we didn't have no guidelines. We didn't have a finish line. We didn't have a start. We were just doing this. Well, we did. We used basic support and the resistance. So when it finally broke the support and closed over the line, we knew it should go whatever. Or we look to the left, and we see an area of rejection that it's about to reach it. And when we see that nipple coming to the area of rejection, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But this one, I can see that's what we call the nipple. But we did it in reverse. We did it backwards the way. But this one at least telling us, along with the trend plus the rejection, take the trade.
Exactly.
And
this is what I mean about practicing it, because the thing moves so fast that it's going to be hard. Me and you talking about it right now, it's easy for us to see on the chart, but when it's happening real time, like you see the wick moving up and down super fast, your emotions are going to get involved. You're going to be like, oh, should I enter this? Should I not? Should I ask Shawn? Should I ask for Zeke? Well, like, what should I do? But if you keep practicing it on your own, like, you don't have to ask anyone, because it's like I mentioned earlier, it's like learning a new language. If you practice language long enough, or reading a specific type of language, you'll be able to pick it up a lot easier and a lot quicker, because it's basically a storyline. Like you can see here that these pivots they're just dynamic zones. So the zones move with price, and then price just pretty much bounces off these zones, and then it just keeps bouncing off until it decides to cross over.
But you said that you make more money by scalping, but you was on the charts way too much.
Exactly. So it's an exchange. Like if you want to make a lot of money, you can scalp. Like how I made the profit that one day when I had my FTMO. I made like 12,000 in one day because I was on the chart like for 24 hours. I literally was just sitting there and taking trades back to back to back. And it's not healthy. Like it's okay to do that maybe once a week, once a month, but if you do that every single day, your health is going to deteriorate, and it's going to become an addiction to you. So that's why I don't really recommend it, unless it's absolutely necessary. Like normally I wouldn't do that, but my FTMO was gonna expire the next day. So I was like, all right, I got to make the money right now, because like if I don't make it right now, that 600 challenge fee is gonna go down the drain. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it happen, and then I did.
Okay, but you was over leveraging too. So
yeah,
you weren't doing like a 1.5, like a what?
No, I was doing like 30 to 50 lots, because the thing is, when you scalp, you're only trying to get like X amount of pips. You're not trying to go for that full 1,500. You're trying to go like
2 pips or 1 pip.
Like right here, like 300, 500 pips right here. So you literally just because you can see right here, see as price bounces off these pivots, you could lock in 200, 300 pips right here, just in that little move. And the thing is with FTMO, there's no commission. So when you take these trades, that's a straight profit to you. So, it's really easy to do on FTMO if you do it properly.
And if I reach my target, do they shut me down for the month?
No, so you don't have a target at all. Or are you talking about the challenge, or are you talking about the funded?
For the funded, meaning that for the month, do like let's say like with the challenge, I got to 5,000 in like 4.5 days, 3 days. Um, so right now I'm just deadheading, just waiting until it's over. What I'm saying is for the rest of the month, let's say if I reach, so there is no target in FFTMO.
Yeah, once you get funded, there's no more target. So you can literally just, trade as much as you want. If you want to take a few trades and then you're in profit like $100 and you just want to, you're okay with that. If you want to go on vacation, you don't want to like trade for the rest of the month, you can go ahead and just leave the account alone. And then at the end of the month, they're going to send you an email like, hey, Ark, you made $100 for this month. Your profit split is going to be $70 out of this 100 because you take 70%. Please send me the invoice. And the invoice will dictate how much you make or how much you decide to leave in the account.
Okay. And in your opinion, based on what I told you, 'cause I don't want to take too much time. That I told you I had one running because I messed up with the take profit because it was way too high and I couldn't judge it. After this question, I got one more question. So where am I at right now? That I'm still in a, y'all call it a Padawan or new fight stage, like being a newbie, or am I at a point where I can feel better that I'm at the learning stage? That if I know what a buy stop and buy limit and all this other stuff is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you're way past the newbie stage, Ark. You've definitely done a lot more than a lot of other people have, in such a short time. Like you learn pretty quickly, and like although you don't get things sometimes, you're good about asking questions, and that's what the good thing is, because a lot of people don't ask questions, so a lot of people just stay confused and they get stuck in that circle, forever basically. But for you, you like to ask questions right away, and then when I give you a response, you actually learn from it. So the thing with you, I think you're way past the beginner stage. You're more like in the learning stage, and then maybe even a little past that because you're able to make profit on your own. You're not just waiting for signals. You're applying the strategies on your own, and you're learning as much as you can. So I think you're definitely making your way up. You're
The
you're not
the
you're not that low.
the 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 thing that I'm struggling with, the momentum is momentum. I know what momentum, breaking retest, and you're taking. But normally I was scalping the momentum when I was trading gold, and I was over leveraging, and it'll whipsaw and it'll whip my ass. But with the time zone, the whole beauty about as far as marketing for this, the marketing should be the reason why I never could trade before because I never knew when the move was going to happen. And then I don't care how much money you can make. If you get so bored, you don't know when to be up or when to be asleep. But by you having the 8:30, I believe it's 8:30 Central Time and 2 o'clock London with the 8:30 US, at least that tells me for a person that's brainwashed for working for somebody else, what time I go to work. That I never knew what time I would go to work trade. So with gold, I would just get up at 7 because it tends to start acting crazy around 7. So that was kind of me kind of mimicking, but with the color, but when that bar changes, my confusion is the next one after the 8:30 US session, Central Time. Is that still based upon the off for the previous pivot? Or that's just saying that's the momentum in the market normally once this whatever your indicators does, normally the first single after 8:30, it tends to keep going versus bouncing off of a pivot. Or am I way too deep?
No, you should be fine because the thing is at 8:30, that's when the stock market opens, and that's why the market starts to get crazy after that time because every time before that, the stock market is closed. So, US 30 is a US asset. It's the top 30 US stocks. within that index. So basically, that's why it starts moving crazy around that time. And that's basically how we're able to get our edge in the market. Because what we're doing is we're waiting for the market to open, and then we're waiting for the big players to push price in a certain direction. So once price gets pushed in that direction, what we're doing is we're just piggyback riding them. So they're pushing the market, and we're just tagging along. We're tagging along for the ride. And then once we see that the market is going to turn the other way, or if it hits our TP, we just hop off that ride. We let them do what they need to do after that. So we're not really, we're literally just we're chasing them basically. So we see like say you see a train coming and you need to get in that direction. Instead of you walking like 10, 20 miles, you see the train coming. As soon as that train passes, you just hop on that train. You hang on to that train. Once you get to your stop, you just hop right back off. That's exactly what we're doing when we're trading US 30. So that's like that's kind of an illustration of what we're doing basically.
And you're trading with the 10-minute because it's not that much of a move, because they can change their mind and make the market go another direction. But by the time that way, we already caught the momentum for the little amount of pips, which is a lot of pips on the US 30.
Exactly. Because
But
going back to the illustration, it's like, a train could be going one way, but that train could stop at any time and pull right back the other way. I'm sure you've been stuck like at a train stop before where that happened, where a train will be going one direction and then all of a sudden it just stops and it goes right back in the opposite direction. And that's why we don't get caught in those moves, because that's why we have the indicators for.
okay. And it's not magic on how that thing can go in a negative and dance in the negative for about 30 minutes. Or in some cases, you didn't see me take a trade at 12 noon, 1 o'clock, and it still hits the TP by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. It's not magic. It's something that's predicated on the first move. Meaning, how in the hell can a move happen way at this time in the past, and it goes against you? But it seems like that's why I keep saying it's the Ikamuku or something, because that cloud is going to eventually push it back up. And so I just got to continue. Cause this the first time I ever just done something and not question everything. And I was taught wrong from the first part, which made me not trust people with systems, but I had to find something that fit me. So I had to make, if I just, if, if, if you had 100 students and only one of them was being successful, that wasn't my type of thing, because I'm not that smart. I graduated in class of what, class of 1500, and I'm probably like at the middle percentile. But if everybody, if about 50% is getting it, then I'm gonna be in the top 50%. So I just like how everybody had a chance to win, even if they didn't have the patience or whatever to actually keep asking questions until they got it. So, but the best part of this is I know when I'm gonna start hunting. Versus the other one, I was just sitting and I never knew what time. But that's it. I think I got everything. Just 130 for all pending orders. 130. I'll subtract 130 from all pending orders, whether it's the entry, the stop loss, or the take profit. I'm supposed to subtract 130. True.
Yeah. So if you're entering say if you're entering a buy, right, then you're gonna have to add that. But if you're entering a sell, you're gonna have to subtract it. So it just depends on the way that you're trading, because generally or actually here, let me see. So basically, the FTMO price is gonna be somewhere like down here. So if this entry is right here, you're gonna subtract it so that your entry would be down here. And then if you're gonna take a sell, then your entry is gonna be right here. So instead of having this, you're gonna add to it. So if you're taking a sell order, you're gonna add 130. If you're taking a buy order, you're gonna subtract 130. You get the difference?
Buy, you got to do the reverse.
Exactly. So if you're buying, you're gonna subtract. If you're going to sell, you got to add.
And that'll get me right at the entry point.
Exactly, or somewhere near it. They're not too far.
And then for the take profit, it's whichever direction that I'm going.
Exactly.
130. Okay, because I was speaking to Rada Zeke, and he said 130 on all of them. So they subtract 130 on all of them. That's it. But I didn't understand it. I said, because what if I'm buying? What if I'm selling? He's still 130 on all of them. On the entry, the take profit, and the stop loss. But he been in school, so he been kind of tied up. But I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess up my first trade and get tightened up. So if I'm buying, I subtract, and if I selling, I add.
Exactly.
And on the TP, I add. And on the if I'm buying, and on
If you're buying, you're just going to subtract. So just put it this way: if you're buying, you're going to subtract 130 from everything. If you're going to sell, you're going to add 130 to everything.
that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
That makes it a lot easier. So that if I can get this link, so I can watch it until I pass out, that'll be helpful. So and it's possible to make a monthly income by doing this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you've seen how much profit you made from the challenge, right? How much did you make on that challenge for 1 month?
Did you asking me how did I make it?
No, how much did you make? Because we could do the math on that too. How much did you make on that challenge account when you passed it? Because that was 1 month, right?
Yeah, for the first one,
Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks. It was 10,000. Like right when I get to 10,000, or right when I get to target, I stop.
Yeah. So you would made it, give or take around 10,000. And then if you were to calculate this as a full-time job, you would just subtract it by 4 weeks out of the month, and then 40 hours a week. So you'd be making about like $62 an hour if you were trying to compare this to a normal job, basically.
I got you.
So, I don't know how much you make now at your normal job as, pest control, but this would be equal to what you would be making if you're locking in about 10,000 a month with trading.
Oh hell no! I mean, did I do about 60 to 70,000 on a good year with the pest control? But with the chemicals killing me and poison and stuff, uh, that's whatever. Now, long term, I, I I know I keep saying this, but this always my goal is to help my kids not struggle and learn something early, so they may not want to be traders, but when life kicks them in the ass and they realize he don't want to be a zookeeper, because I got one kid that wants to be a damn zookeeper or something. So once he realized he's tired of shoveling shit and whatever, and he see people driving these nice cars, hopefully something kicking. Okay, Dad did tell me. What I'm saying is, over time, whatever you can think of that allow me to get them their subscriptions or whatever that it takes for them to be whatever. See, what's the loan? See, my degree is in international business, so I know about trust. I know about stuff that people can do it due to their untimely death, especially due to COVID. If something was to happen to you, what's going to happen to the people? Technically, we wouldn't know how to make the indicator. We wouldn't know how to do this. What I'm just saying, that I'm just throwing this out there because I'm always thinking long term.
Yeah, this is a question that's been asked before too. So if anything was to happen, my brother would take over because my brother knows how to do this as well. So, and he's younger than me, so he's gonna be around for a while. But even with at that point in time when I get older, when I do have kids and stuff, it's the same situation. Like my kids might not want to trade, but it's gonna be there in case they have something to fall back on at that point. But if the worst circumstances happen, it would pass on to my brother. Basically, he would take over.
Okay. and you actually young. You actually like 20s.
I'm about to be 30 actually. I'm gonna be 30 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, send me your address and I will ship you some Ciroc. Okay. Well, listen. Uh, that's it, bro. Thank you. Uh, I just never experienced somebody willing to spend this much time. I am learning to love the trade. I hated trading because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and so uh, hopefully I get off to a good start. Now, do you get pissed off when I put your head on top of the football players and basketball players and do that? Because I can stop that. But
Oh no, no, not at all. I think it's funny, you know. It's always a good time.
okay, okay, all right, bro. Thank you so much. And whatever the link is, you can send it, and I'll watch it, and cause uh I didn't learn a lot. So when I started, I supposed to start at 1/5 of 15, whatever that's called. Cause I don't even know what to call it. Cause FTM don't mess up my mind. It's not a full lot. It's not 15 lots for
Exactly.
FTM.
It's 1.5.
So 1.5 movable decimal. So 1/5 point. That's what I trade with, right?
Exactly.
Okay, 1/5 point. Okay, that's it.
All right. Yeah. If you have any other questions, you know, feel free to let me know. We can step this up again, like, you know, at some time in the future if you have any more questions. You know, otherwise, you know, you know where to find me. I'll be on the chat.
And there's nothing else that I'm missing that can help me.
Not now. I think what you got to do is you just got to keep practicing, and then you know, as you get questions along the way, just make sure to write down the questions so that you know when we do hop on another call, like in the future, we can hop on and we can go over it real time, like we're doing right now. I think that's the best way for you to learn. It's more so through trial and error, because you know you're never going to learn anything unless you struggle. So the more you struggle for it, you know, the more important it's going to be to you, and the more important it's going to be to you, you know, the more success is going to come your way.
Okay. And if it's a buy pin in order, I subtract 1/3.
That's correct. And then if it's sell, you're gonna add to it.
And that's on all of them. The take profit, the entries and everything.
That's correct.
All right. I got it. All right,
All right.
thank you.
All right. No problem. I'll send you the link right now.
All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
I thank you, sir.